Okay, I guess I'll do this one too. This right here is a def doser valve for Cummins 2010 through about 2017. So what do we got? We basically have an injector nozzle that's 2-wire, and it basically is controlled by the ECM, and it opens and closes. When it needs to inject, it'll open, and when it doesn't need to inject, it'll close. Now, right here, this is your diesel exhaust fluid line. These two right here are your coolant lines because it has coolant going to it. They're pretty straightforward. You do take them off and they will crystallize around right here around the nozzle. There's a washer that goes around there in a gasket on the decom tube. But this right here will get plugged up. That'll crystallize, and you got to clean them sometimes, and then you got to do the measurement with the barrette or the measuring glass. You can remove it, and you go to your Cummins inside, and you can command it to pulse, and then you let it run for X amount of time, and then you take that measurement, and then you look to see what the value is, and if it's in spec, you leave it alone. If it's not, you go ahead and replace it. Most people, seems like they just replace them. They'll go ahead and they'll say that they did the test and it wasn't in spec, and they'll collect their whatever amount of time it is that they're allowed to bill, and they'll replace it. It's straightforward. It's 2 coolant lines, a def doser line controlled. This right here is I forgot, there's a value, there's a resistance value that you check with. But what everybody does is they unbolt it, they let it hang, and you command it to pulse, and then you look at it too. Is it a straight line? Is it atomizing? Is it not shooting? Is it plugged? Whatever the case may be. Now, the def doser pump, when you first start the unit, will do what's called prime. And if you go to the commands, you can see the parameter. It's going to prime, and then what it's shooting for is more than 100 psi on the def doser line, and I think it's anywhere between 120 and 140, somewhere 130. I think it's normal. But if it doesn't see pressure on this line to the def doser, it's going to derate, or it's going to turn the truck off. And that's usually your pump. It can't build pressure, or the pressure's too low, or you got a restriction in the line, aka you got ice in the line because your def fluid froze. Those are some of the things we're fighting right now. But this right here is old school diesel exhaust fluid valve for a Cummins 2010 through about 2017. If we come across a newer one, I'll do a video and I'll show it to you. The only thing I don't like about these valves, okay, that really bites, is that some of these bolts, they will break off, and if they break off, they're stainless. So have a very good drill bit and a steady hand if you're going to try to drill it. But normally what we tell the customer is, if they snap, we're going to go ahead and just put a decomp tube. Not unless the customer's going to pay us to drill them out. And it's for what we charge is time in to get those broken bolts out. And they're stainless. That's the only thing that does kind of bite, is that these bolts that hold it down are stainless and they break real easy. But anyway, hey, thanks for watching.